Okay. 1 Kings chapter 13. And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name, and upon thee shall they offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which the Lord hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand, which he put forth against him, dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of God, Come home with me, and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, If thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so it was charged by me the word of the Lord, saying, Eat no bread, nor drink water, nor return again by the same way that thou camest. So he went another way, and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, What way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, Saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon, and went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, Art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, Thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. He said unto him, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, Bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house and drink water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Forasmuch as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but camest back, and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread and drink no water. Another dietary restriction. Eat no bread and drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew him. And his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass. And behold, men passed by, and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, It is the man of God who is disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion, which hath torn him and slain him according to the word of the Lord, which he spake unto him. And he spake to his son, saying, Saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of God, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, Alas, my brother. And it came to pass, after he had buried them, that he spake to his son, saying, When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. After this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people priests of the high places. Whosoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth. So in the previous chapter, Rehoboam, Solomon's son, attempts to take over all of Israel. He foolishly takes the advice of his peers instead of his elders, which angers Israel. Israel appoints Jeroboam, Solomon's previous employee, to be their king. He builds temples with golden calves to encourage Israel to worship in this territory instead of the temple that Solomon built. Rehoboam is only ruler of Jerusalem. Jeroboam fears Israel will turn their loyalty to Rehoboam if they continue to worship in Jerusalem. 1 Kings 13. An unnamed man of God gives Jeroboam a prophecy about a new king from David's lineage that will destroy the current order. An unnamed prophet lies to the unnamed man of God, saying that God approves of them eating together. The man of God is killed by a lion. If this chapter doesn't illustrate why you need to develop your own connection to God, you cannot have someone be in the middle of your relationship. It is important to get through this word. It is important because this Bible is more of a document of human behavior. So, right now, Jeroboam is king. He was chosen by God, okay? Because remember, Solomon went against God. He's the first to build a national temple for Israel, but he married all them women, had 1,000 some women. And so he married women specifically from tribes that God said, you ain't supposed to marry them women. They all come from the same ancestor, but some of them were not to be married. And I already explained that. They worshiped other gods. Again, Solomon has 1,000 women. No way he can spend time with all them. He builds temples and starts participating in the services for these other gods. And it was just such a big letdown because David wanted to build a temple for God, but because he had such an, you know, he has such a hard reign as a leader, he never had enough peace to be able to build like this. God gave Solomon understanding, discernment, uh, peace, wisdom. God came to him twice and talked to him directly. He still turned against God over some cooter, over some women, over some women. So, because of that, he died. He died in that chapter after he built them gods. He died. So now God gave a prophecy and says, "Hey, Jeroboam, who is Solomon's employee, he's going to be the leader of 10 tribes. He's going to be king." Okay? And Solomon's son, he's only going to rule over one. He tried to gain control over Israel, and the employee that he sent to get control, Israel stoned him to death. So he's too scared to try to take over Israel anymore. But Jeroboam, he's the leader of Israel. He doesn't want the people going back to Jerusalem to worship because Jerusalem is where Solomon's son is the ruler. Jeroboam knows that Israel has a tendency to rebel and to kill somebody. So he decides, let me create 2 golden calves and reference when the Israelites first came from Egypt and they were in the wilderness. So he built calf gods and started making sacrifices and incenses, made a national holiday for these gods. When God anointed this person, Jeroboam, God picked him and said, "You're going to be the leader of Israel now." And he immediately turns against God. It doesn't even seem like he had a relationship with God because it was a prophet who told him this. And as soon as he becomes leader and he sees that they're going to Jerusalem to make sacrifice, he's like, "Well, let me make a temple here to some other god." And now Israel was worshiping these calf gods. So that's where we're at. 1 Kings chapter 13. A man from Judah, man of God. This person is unnamed. So in verses 1 through 10, it details what happened with this man. So as we said, Jeroboam is making this incense. He's making, he has these false gods where he's having these services for these false gods. This man of God was crying against the altar. And he gives a prophecy in verse 2 and 3. We get to verse 4. King Jeroboam was angry with this prophecy, so he tried to have him arrested. He pointed his finger at him. But his hand became paralyzed, or his hand became withered. It says in the King James was withered. It dried up, paralyzed. Okay, whatever he did, after he pointed to get this man arrested, his hand withered. And he couldn't, whatever it was afflicted, and he couldn't move his hand. He gets scared while he's at his own temple that he built as king and tells this man of God, can you pray for me? Ask the Lord to restore my hand. So this unnamed man of God witnesses, makes this prophecy, witnesses the sign that God gives him, because he says in the prophecy, there's going to be a man from David's tribe that's going to destroy this current order. And the sign is that the altar will be split apart and the ashes will be poured on the ground. After the man's hand was paralyzed, this is exactly what happened. Crack in the altar, ashes pouring out. So the king cried out to God, or cried out to the man to ask God. That's why I say I don't think Jeroboam has a connection to God himself. The king's hand was restored after this man of God. So this man of God that is unnamed. This is his prophecy. He experienced this directly, of having a prophecy, seeing the sign of it come to pass, seeing this plague manifest where the king points to have him arrested and his hand get messed up. The prophet, this man of God, prays, and the hand is restored. Okay, so that's this one man. Okay. The king, after his hand is restored, tells this man of God, hey, come back to me. I'll give you a gift. I'll give you some food. The man of God says, even if you gave me half everything you got, I wouldn't go with you. God gave me the command not to eat or drink nothing here. Again, another dietary restriction, because most of the laws in the Bible are dietary restrictions so far, most of them, because you eat more than you do anything else. That's why it is a disservice to not have no sermons about that, but that's another story. Okay. So we get to verse 11. There's this other man, old prophet. Okay. He's got sons. He's got donkeys. He's got more earthly possessions right now than what it seems this other man got. So he heard about what happened with this other man who had this experience of seeing this prophecy come to pass and seeing this plague manifest. There's another man. He's an old prophet. He's unnamed too, but he has more earthly, he has a bigger reputation and more earthly things. So he hears about this incident and then he tries to find this guy. Then he lies to him. He asked him, hey, why don't you come with me? Unnamed man of God. The old prophet says to the unnamed man of God, and the unnamed man of God says, no, I can't. I'm not allowed to eat nothing. And the old prophet said, but I'm a prophet too, just as you are. Then the angel of God gave me the command that it's okay for you. And the unnamed man of God went for it. After seeing his prophecy, even after seeing the word that God gave him manifest in front of him, after he's seen the king's hand when he tried to arrest him, his hand get messed up, he prays, the hand gets restored. He sees the altar get ripped. He knows that that's God talking to him. God told him, don't go eat nothing. This prophet, this old prophet who has more earthly title, more earthly things, he has to look like he is a prophet. He's got sons and he's got family and he's got this and that. He was able to convince this man who saw with his own eyes, able to convince him, no, you can eat here. God told me you can. Again, a man of God, a prophet, a man with a title and reputation, lying about something God said, just like Moses. You see why I got to have your own connection to God? You see why I got to read for yourself? Because a man of God will lie, can lie. He's human. He's human. We're all human. We're all capable of lying. We're all capable of doing some crap. That's why you can't look at nobody else. You got to look at God. You got to see, what did God command? What are these examples in this Bible trying to show us? it's just crazy to me that he saw God work. He saw it. He saw a man get a plague. His prayer healed this man's hand. And he was still tricked and deceived by another man of God who lied. So as they're sitting in verse 20, the old prophet who lied got a word. He got a command from God. And then he tells the man who the unnamed man of God who saw the manifestation of the hand and all that. This old prophet gets a word from God and now tells the man that he lied to, "You've defiled the word of God, you disobeyed me. Your body will not be buried in the grave of your ancestors," which I'm guessing this is a big deal during this time. Um, to be buried with your fathers. You see that. You sleep with your fathers. That's important, I'm assuming. So after this man of God, at the beginning of the story, who had the prophecy, the old prophet who lied saddles his own donkey because he has donkeys. So this man of God who had the prophecy, he must not even had his own donkey. He must not even had his own transportation. But the old prophet that has more on earth saddled his own donkey. And the man of God from the beginning of the story starts walking or starts, traveling. A lion came out of nowhere and killed him. And his body lay there on the road with the donkey and the lion standing beside it. People passed by and saw the body. The lion stood beside it, and the lion didn't even eat the donkey. When the old prophet who lied, who caused this crop in the first place, he goes, "Oh, it's the man of God who disobeyed God's command. The Lord has fulfilled his word by causing the lion to attack and kill him." Dude, this was your fault. You lied to him. This is your fault. So then the prophet says to his sons, because he's another man of God who got other people who can do stuff for him, again, like relying on slave labor. Ask these volunteers, "Hey, saddle this donkey for me." This is a man of God who lied, caused someone else's death, and then he still has people around to help him do stuff, help him travel. It has still got his earthly possessions. You're supposed to listen to God when he tells you something, not somebody else. What God told him, he might not have told you. We already saw that with in the book of Genesis. Okay? Uh Jacob has a daughter, Dinah, and she's sexually assaulted by the prince of Shechem. Her brothers, the prince then asks for her hand in marriage. When the brothers find out what happened, they tell them, "Oh, we all the men in your city have to be circumcised before you can marry our sister." And while they were healing from their circumcision, they went in and killed all the men in their city for doing that to the sister. God did tell the Israelites to be circumcised, but God didn't tell them other people to be circumcised. You listen to that and now you're dead. It's that severe. So the old prophet who caused this mess says, "Saddle a donkey for me," found the body, and then he took it. He's mourning over it. Again, it's not like he's saying, "I'm sorry." He's just crying because, oh, my brother, you caused this. The prophet said to his sons, "When I die, bury me where the man of God is buried." So now he wants to be buried next to the man that his lie caused the death of. See how people are? See how this man of God can be? Because in verse 32, now he believes what that man said. Even after this, Jeroboam didn't turn from his evil ways. This is after his hand was something was wrong with his hand. This became great sin, utter destruction of Jeroboam's dynasty from the face of the earth. I don't think anything else needs to be said. I love you. Have a wonderful day.